missed 9 games this season. March Madness, Game 2 here in Knoxville. The opening tip controlled by Oregon in the home white by Sedona Prince, and we are underway here in this matchup. You should take a look at the Oregon lineup, brought to you by Capital One. Rogers for Prince, looking inside to Sabali. Got the side advantage on Conley Chin. Back side to Prince, who can't get it to drop, and a rebound comes to Destiny Wells. Belmont has used the same starting 5 for each and every game this season. Madison Bartlett tries from outside and can't hit. Tuti Jones, the Defensive Player of the Year in the OVC. Kinney and Chin are seniors.
Well, it'll be interesting to see which team is able to control the pace first. Both teams struggling on the first couple of shots, and Sabali gets the ball to drop. Will get an opportunity at the free throw line. Take another look at it right here. Sabali fighting down low. And I think when you look at the size difference between Oregon and Belmont, you're going to see a lot of the double teams down low trying to figure out ways to slow down their post presence and force them to score from the outside.
The foul on Madison Bartlett, who at 6'3" is the tallest Belmont player on the floor, and she will have her hands full. Sabali checks in at 6'5", Prince at 6'7". There is Bartlett trying to work inside on Prince, who's there defensively, and the loose ball picked up by Sedona. Rogers. Rogers in her first year with Oregon, transferred over from USC, all Pac-12 last season, averaged 15 points a game. All Pac-12 selection this year for the Ducks. Sabali can't hit, and it's into the hands of Destiny Wells. Well,
Belmont played that well. Played Sabali straight up and try to make her score over you. Wells tried to get her first shot in, not able to get it in.
Pow there defensively. She comes back the other way. Rogers on the pull-up. Belmont left her unchecked, but Oregon can't cash in. Oregon's missed a couple of wide open looks early, and they miss another one here with Pow. Let's see if that's got Kelly Gray. Yep, he's kind of looking down at the hands.
Meditating right now.
Yes. Serenity now, as his team is 1 for 7 from the field now in his 8th season at Oregon. 190 wins with the Ducks, 617 in his 25-year career. Of course, had great success leading Gonzaga to the NCAA tournament. Gonzaga very familiar to fans who were the giant killers back in Kelly Graves' day, as Bartlett knocks down the triple.
Well, that's what Belmont wants to do. They have to find ways to score. They got to space the floor out. We saw the first pick and roll that was done by Belmont. Oregon definitely double teamed well. Got to find ways to space the floor.
Sabali defended well by Bartlett. Oregon ball with 6 to shoot.
Sabali takes her time on the drive. She sees the floor, tries to take the one-on-one matchup.
Another miss for the Ducks. Now 1 for 9 to start. Jamelyn Kinney with the push. Tuti Jones knocks down the 3. She's pumped up. 39% from outside the line. The leader in threes made and attempted.
Well, 2 solid three-point attempts, and Oregon comes. Pow gets called for the travel. Now it will be another opportunity for Belmont.
Bart Brooks in his 5th year as Belmont's head coach, 122 wins. He's won 4 OVC titles. The OVC Coach of the Year for the 2nd time. Was an assistant to Doug Bruno at DePaul for 11 seasons. And has had great success with this Belmont program. They have won 12 straight games, and they're up early here on Oregon.
You saw right there, just a double team anytime Wells comes off the screen and roll.
Conley Chin, captain for this Belmont team. Another open look right in front of the Oregon bench, and a timeout is called by Kelly Graves. Tuti Jones with a couple of threes.
Belmont raining threes right now. Just saw the last one, Tuti Jones. Belmont is on a roll right now. Got to get out, got to guard them, got to defend them, especially on the three-point line. That's one of the things they talked about in the press conference is they have the exact team back. So the excitement around that and wanting to come back and finish business.
Sydney Parrish tried to keep it alive, and it's ripped down by Tessa Miller into the game for Belmont. Maddie Shear is into the game for Oregon. She is their best defender. She's been battling an ankle injury. There's another look for three. It's very clear what Belmont wants to do. 44% of their field goal attempts are three-pointers. So it's all over the scouting report, but they've gotten looks from outside the arc so far against Oregon.
Well, that's been something that's been very prevalent right now. And Pow gets called for the offensive foul. Nice little charge. Conley just standing her ground in the paint. And Pow will get called for the offensive charge.
Conley Chin, known as someone who takes charges, does so there.
And just back to your point about the three-pointers, Belmont knows they have to shoot threes. That's something that Coach Graves talked about yesterday. We've got to guard the three-point line. We cannot allow them to come out and dominate us on the threes.
Their last 4 field goal attempts have been three-pointers so far. And they're going to get another wide-open look for three. There's Pow on the push off the miss. Takes it down the middle and gets 2. Tina Pow did not play in the NCAA tournament last year. Had a stress fracture, an injury that kept her out of the end of the year last year, as Oregon still found a way to make it to their 4th straight Sweet 16. Miller finds Jones. Back to Miller, and a good clean block by Kylie Watson on the floor. Watson, another one with good length at 6'4".
Well, Watson does a great job of using her length and getting the ball in the air, not allowing Belmont to get that foul call.
Parrish on the pull-up. That won't drop. Good hustle by Sabali, and a second chance here for Oregon.
Sabali just cleaning up on the board right now. That's her 4th, actually her 5th rebound.
Parrish misses again. Here's Watson fighting inside. No. Oregon 2 for 14 from the field. As we mentioned, Oregon's had their ups and downs. They've had the problems with injuries in the beginning part of the year, but even if they've had a close to a full roster, they've had some games where they've looked good, and if they play to the best of their ability, as Sabali gets called for a foul, they're really good. But there's been too many dips in the road, and they're having a dip here in the first quarter, down by 5 to Belmont. I mean, everybody we've talked to, and I know you don't take it for granted how important women's basketball is here in Knoxville, and it's great to have the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame here, and both these programs, Belmont making the about 3-hour trip over, and Oregon flying in here. Just thrilled to be here where women's basketball matters so much.
Well, that's what Coach Graves said. It's kind of like the mecca of women's basketball. You go back, and of course we have all types of Pat Summitt stories that we can go over. But now having the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame right here in Knoxville, I mean, even the players talked about the importance of going to the hall and being able to have the opportunity to see the different exhibits, learn more about women's basketball and about the people that started it before we even got here.
I think we got out of that championship banner shot just before the one that matters the most to you, right? Well, you know what? Michael, our director, takes care of it. He makes sure the other banner in the building that matters a little bit to you. Your number hanging from the rafters here at Thompson Bowling Arena, of course. Tamika winning a national championship with Tennessee her freshman year. Into the game, Elise Hurst. The shooting woes continue for the Ducks. Now 2 for 15 from the field. Kelly Graves has seen this before as his team, when they're on, but they have had some cold shooting games these last several weeks of the season, including they went 0 for 16 from outside the three-point line in what turned out to be a win over California at Matthew Knight Arena on their home floor.
Well, I think the biggest thing, Belmont is trying to get them to play outside, and they're forcing them to get shots, maybe not necessarily outside of the lane, but I think Oregon needs to attack the basket.
Good ball movement by Belmont to get the wide open look, and that's going to be a costly foul for Belmont as Madison Bartlett, who's got a lot on her shoulders to fight on the inside today, picks up her second personal foul, so she's out, and Tessa Miller is back in.
Well, Niara Sabally, when she's down low, and I think she's been kind of a bright spot thus far in this game for Oregon. I mean, she takes up space down low. You got to have somebody that can defend her.
Tipped out of the hands of Watson. Battle for the loose ball, won by Belmont. And a great job by Kylie Watson trailing the play to get the block on the attempted three-pointer. Pow for Oregon. Weaving through traffic with the runner.
They need more of that. Oregon started with the defensive play right there. Watson coming down, not getting the ball in the air again, but Pow creating and getting down the lane. That is what is important for Oregon.
Kyla McGuff into the game for Belmont. Here she is with it, number 12. Nikki Baird also in the game. Shot clock to 4. McGuff drops it down. Well done by the freshman to find the other freshman, Tessa Miller. Sabally. That won't drop. Rebound for McGuff.
I like the drive by Sabally. I like her intensity. I like her going to the basket. Just got to figure out a way to finish.
Sabally knocked it away, but still controlled by Belmont. McGuff dragged the pivot foot. Turnover for Belmont. That is their first of the first.
Well, let's go back and take a look at what Oregon needs. They need more of this. The transition game. See Kahina Pow weaving and moving through that paint. Able to get the finish.
Well, Pow will check out with 1:17 to go in the first quarter. She won't be on the bench very long. Just get a little bit of a rest here. Sabally as well. Rogers back into the game for the Ducks, along with Sedona Prince. Here is Prince on the post-up.
And Prince is so long down there, not able to get that finish, but those are the looks that Oregon has to continue to get.
Jones. Shear with the rebound. Is going to be called on Belmont's Tessa Miller.
Tessa Miller trying to steal. You see Sedona Prince dribbling the ball, and she dribbles kind of high, so you automatically feel like you can get in and get your hands on it, but great job of controlling the ball, Sedona Prince, and forcing Belmont to foul.
Of course, Belmont's giving up a lot of size, but what they give up in size, they make up for in system and in scheme. They're so good defensively, but a great job by Oregon this time attacking that good Belmont defense, and it results in a layup for Prince.
Yep, a nice little pick and roll action. Sedona Prince drop straight to the basket, and a nice pass.
Final possession here for Belmont. Wells dished it inside. Shear got a block from behind, and that will do it. But the lowest scoring quarter this season for Oregon. They scored 8.
Well, when you're going against a team that loves shooting threes, you gotta worry about Belmont Bruins. They are lighting it up from the outside from the 3 points, all raining threes. Well, they figured out a way to move this Oregon defense from side to side, and really when you look at the 3-point shots that they've made and have had an opportunity to take, they've been pretty wide open.
Turnover on the first possession of the second quarter for Belmont. We'll give it to Oregon. Second turnover for the Bruins.
Well, Sabally back in the game. She took a little bit of a break at the end of the first quarter, and rightfully so. A player that, because of her size, can dominate down low, and that's definitely somebody that they've looked at to try to get the flow of the offense going.
Shania Pinto into the game for the first time for the Ducks. Pow Pow still on the bench for Oregon. Here's Pinto for Prince. Lid on the basket for the Ducks. They're now 4 of 20 from the field, and a foul is called in the backcourt on Maddie Shear.
Oh, you got to figure out. I like the aggressiveness, and I think Oregon trying to figure out a way. So a lot of these shots that they're taking are shots they can make right around the basket. Sedona Prince, such a beautiful shot, able to make those shots. Sabally, we've seen a couple of her free throws that have gone down. We know what she's capable of doing right there. So there's a lot of opportunity that Oregon is just they're missing out on.
On the drive, knocked out a play, and it will stay on this end of the court. Kenny with a kick to Jones in the corner. Jones had it knocked away and picked up by Rogers for Shear.
Great defensive possession right there.
Good drive by Rogers for 2. Rogers tied for the team lead, as we told you at the top of the show, 14.7 points a game. Sabally and Rogers even up, with Pow Pow not far behind in scoring average. Pinto the rebound.
That's the player right there. They're trying to figure out how do you get Wells more engaged with this offense.
Foul called on Belmont on the drive by Rogers.
Coach Brooks said he had 9 players available to play today, and he said he's going to use all 9 of his players. He has full confidence in his team and what they're capable of doing.
Pinto to Shear, who is open for a moment. Sabally on the drive. Blocking foul is called on Belmont. Game 2 here in Knoxville. The winner of this game will take on Tennessee. Had to battle with the University of Buffalo, but the Lady Vols pulled out an 80-67 victory. Tennessee shooting 55% from the field in the second half to win.
I think when you look at Oregon right now at the free throw line, Miara Sabally, great job of getting to the basket. You think about the shooting woes. It started in the first game as well. There was shooting woes from both sides. So both teams trying to figure out, trying to find that adjustment.
Well, it's different, right? No tournament 2 years ago. Last year, tournament in a bubble in San Antonio. Now you're back into the full feeling of where we were before COVID hit, of these 4 teams getting together in one place. Maddie Shear with a good save, batted around, and now controlled by Belmont. They will reset the shot clock. So there's an adjustment period. We saw that in game 1 in the Buffalo-Tennessee game, and certainly here for Oregon, especially in the early going against Belmont. Although Belmont has cooled off from outside the three-point line, they are 0 for their last 5 on threes. They look for a 2. It's saved by Prince.
And a great heads-up play right there, taking it all the way to the basket, not able to convert.
Rogers comes up short, trying to give Oregon the lead. Jones threw it off of Shear. It'll be Belmont basketball.
What a great heads-up play right there. But let's take a look at this defense. Sabally is all over the place, and great save right here. Sedona Prince trying to lead it up into the break.
Destiny Wells doesn't have a field goal yet. Open look for 3 for Chin. First points for the senior from Jackson, Mississippi.
Well, I can guarantee you this. I don't think Wells is worried about whether the makes or the misses, as long as her teammates are stepping up and knocking down shots. And Belmont continues to force Oregon to play outside the lane, side to side.
Rogers can't hit, and it's knocked out of bounds by Jones. It'll be Ducks basketball. Here comes Pow Pow back into the game for the Ducks, as Pinto will check out.
Pow Pow's been good at weaving her way into the paint.
Pow Pow just into the game, not afraid to take a three, and she makes a three.
Well, I love it when you have players that go out, they get a little bit of rest, they come back in, and you know this is going to be a 40-minute game. Pow Pow did a great job first quarter, finding her shot, weaving into the paint, getting to the basket, and now she adds to that from the outside.
Wells trying to find some room against a very good defensive player in Shear, comes up short. Sabali on the run, great feed from Rogers, and here come the Ducks.
Sabali running the floor hard, great job, change of speed with her body, getting a nice little look.
Chin again, not this time, and Rogers has it. Needs help and gets it from Pow Pow. Pow Pow defended by Jones again. Defensive player of the year in the OVC, but Pow Pow sticks with it and gets the hoop, and Oregon's now on top by 3 over Bart Brooks's team.
Well, it's been Pow Pow since she came back in the game, finding ways to get the score. But now trying to get Madison Wells another shot to Shin, not able to convert.
Off the mark, and it'll be Oregon basketball. What's turned around for Oregon here in the second quarter, Tamika?
Well, it's been Pow Pow since she's come onto the floor off the bench, but it's really just been they've been more active, getting to the basket, moving the ball, making the drive down the lane, moving and trying to find the open players. That's been the biggest difference.
And making it tough on the other end for Belmont to get things going offensively. The Bruins are 1 for 7 from the field here in the second quarter.
Well, I think partly that, but the looks that Belmont are getting are shots that they were getting in the first half that they were knocking down. So I don't necessarily think that changed. Sabali, another offensive rebound, another putback. But I think Oregon's gonna wear you down. The length that they have, the size that they have, they make it hard for teams.
It's a 9-0 run for the Ducks. McGuff out to Blair Schoenwald.
See the 2-3 zone right now, 3-2, 2-3. It really kind of shakes a little bit, depending on where the ball is, and a shot clock violation. Belmont has no idea what the shot clock is. Oregon, great job controlling the pace, controlling the speed, up and down. Oregon up 21-16.
Louisville and Gonzaga. Louisville, one of those #1 seeds that will be tested by the Zags tomorrow.
And Louisville just loaded. When you look at their starting five, then you get to the bench, and then you get to the second tier of the bench. I mean, a lot of the players they have, as Oregon continues to reign, and Shear able to knock down the three. So Louisville loaded with a lot of players. It'll be a fun game to watch. Gonzaga as well.
Shear was injured at Colorado on February 23rd, missed 1 game, was limited in others, played 24 minutes last time out against Utah, and she's looked pretty good here coming off the bench for Oregon, especially on the defensive end. Numbers the other way for the Ducks. Rogers to Pow Pow. Pow Pow lets it fly, and a rebound for Bartlett. Interesting, she is back in the game with the 2 personal fouls. She picked up her second foul with 3:03 to go in the first quarter.
Well, Belmont looks like a different team, and I know we talked about this earlier. What is different about the Oregon team? Well, we didn't even talk about Bartlett on the Belmont team. I mean, she is a difference maker for this team.
Inside out and a 3 knocked down. Blair Schoenwald, who knocked down a couple of threes in the third quarter against Tennessee Tech in the OVC title game, comes up with a much needed 3 there for Belmont to bring them within 5. Prince. Sabali. A little too strong on the turnaround.
Belmont doing a great job of holding their own. You got Sabali, you got Prince. I mean, Those are two big players and a nice pick and roll action right there. Make it look easy.
Baird to Bartley for 2. So far, Belmont has 7 field goals. 2 have been of the 2-point variety. 5 of 15 from outside the 3-point line. Sheer, too strong. Pow's got it for Oregon. Another chance here for the Ducks.
And a great defensive possession right there. You see Belmont trying to speed them up.
Sabali ducks under, came up short. Prince offensive rebound. She goes down. Rogers, 4 on the shot clock. Sabali's gonna have to let it fly from deep and knock it down to beat the shot clock.
Well, she's missed a couple of bunnies around the basket, but one thing she says, I can step out to the free throw line extended if I have to. And shot clock winding down, Sabali able to knock it down.
First player into double figures in this game.
Well, Sabali sitting with 10 points right now, 7 rebounds.
Shot clock to 3. Oregon saved it, and that reset the shot clock, and I think maybe they're going to have a discussion here. Did Oregon have full possession? So the officiating crew is going to have a little conversation here to see what they should do with the shot clock. That gives me a chance to remind you that coming up at halftime to greet in the studio, Kelsey, Monica, Andrea, they'll take a look back at our first half between Oregon and Belmont. There's plenty to talk about throughout women's college basketball. Princeton is the team that knocks Kentucky out of the tournament. The SEC champs falling to the Tigers, who have now won 18 in a row. Kentucky's winning streak comes to an end at 10 as Princeton picks up the victory today. So they'll get you all caught up to date on all the scores and what's coming up. I hope they take a little peek towards tomorrow. I don't want to look too far ahead, but did you look at some of those matchups tomorrow? Creighton and Iowa, that'll be a shootout. Florida Gulf Coast of Maryland.
The ruling on the floor is a reset, new possession. The play is under review.
That's the voice of Kyle Bacon. So they will go to the monitor here to see if Oregon did indeed have possession. Again, on the floor, it was determined that Oregon had possession because the shot clock was just about to expire and it was reset, which is a benefit for Belmont. So they go to the monitor.
One of the things that I've really liked is you have seen in
25 seconds on the shot clock, new possession for Belmont.
Okay. Well, there's one of the stars of the show for Tennessee in game 1. I could just tell by the hair. I mean, you know.
You don't need to see anything else.
That's Tamari Key's hair. And that's Tamari Key, who we get to see, who went for a double-double in the victory over Buffalo, 16 points and 11 rebounds. And now getting a chance to see her fan club here in Thompson Bowling. So you heard the announcement. They reset the shot clock, so it is Belmont possession. They don't wait very long, and it's a 3 for Kinney.
Kinney able to get a 3, so you look at this score, 26-24. Belmont has hit a couple of three-point shots back-to-back and kept them in the game.
Substitutions coming in. Tessa Miller will check in quickly for Belmont. Prince is coming on as Watson goes off. Belmont led by 5 at the end of 1 quarter. Bartley gets out with her 2 fouls.
Got a lot of substitutions right now. Last 45 seconds of the half. Trying to make sure you get the right plays in.
Sabali leans in, fights, and gets the putback.
Sabali's had opportunities down low, getting a lot of those bunnies and those looks. Able to convert on the second time around.
Belmont will slow things down, about 3.5 seconds between the shot clock and the game clock. Oregon's done a good job on Wells. They've kept her in check. Down to 2. Off balance launch by Chin. No, a second chance here to beat the buzzer. Yes! Nikki Baird.
Baird comes in and gets the offensive rebound. Nobody around. Oregon lets the shot clock go down. Not paying attention that the shot clock was different than the game clock. And what
Ruling on the floor is the basket was good. The play is under review.
Won't be a very long review. So we will count that. We will take the liberty of counting that one. So a good finish for Belmont, but it's Oregon on top at halftime by 2. 6 of their first 9 field goals in this game, those 9 field goals they made in the first half, 6 were three-pointers. It is Oregon basketball to start the third quarter here in Knoxville. Oregon, the number 5 seed. Belmont, the number 12 seed. Belmont pulled off an upset last year in the tournament in San Antonio as a 12 seed over the number 5 seed Gonzaga, trying to do it in back-to-back years. Pow. That won't drop, and it's batted around and controlled by Belmont. Destiny Wells is their leading scorer this year, but she was 0 for 3 from the field in the first half, had a couple of free throws.
Well, Oregon has made it hard. She has been the target. We talked to Coach Graves yesterday. He said, we will trap her wherever she is. And really, she hasn't gotten a lot of wide open looks. You see the trap right there, Sedona Prince stepping out and forcing her to get the ball out of her hands.
Leans in, and it's off the iron, and a rebound pulled down by Oregon. Here's Rogers. Rogers with the drive, and she was hit on her way to the basket, and she'll go to the free throw line to shoot a couple.
That'll be number 3, Bartlett. That'll be her 3rd foul.
So Madison Bartlett picked up 2 fouls in the first quarter. She came back into the game in the second quarter. First team all-conference selection in the OVC, was on the all-tournament team, highlighted by 20 points in the semifinal victory for Belmont. They had a big second half in that game. They were down 2 in the opening minute of the second half. That's where they are right now against Oregon, but went on a 34-10 scoring run after that, allowed just 3 points in the fourth quarter. So a similar setup here for Belmont, but now taking on a team from the Pac-12 in Oregon.
You look at the schedule that Belmont played, and I asked Coach Brooks about it yesterday. Do you feel like having the competition early on in the non-conference really will set you up to help you going against the Ducks? And they kept talking about Shakira Austin, and Oregon able to get the trap, but still Madison Wells continues to get trapped everywhere she goes.
Parrish back to Sabali. Sabali puts it on the floor and drives with the left hand.
Yeah, those are the plays Sabali was getting in the first half as well. It's just not finishing, so good to see on the first possession that she's able to not only drive, but finish.
Kinney drops it off. Fading away is Conley Chin. And a foul's going to be called on Rogers, battling Jones for the loose ball.
Well, great effort right there, going for all of the loose ball, but let's take a look back. Sabali, that left hand drive straight to the basket with the finish, and like I said just a second ago, those are the shots she had in the first half, not able to convert, so definitely taking her time in finishing.
Chin on the dish from Jones. Correction from Wells. Chin now with 5. Sabali going to the right this time. The kick back out. Three's off the mark from Parrish. Parrish trying to find the range here in this game. She's their best three-point shooter, but she's 0 for from the field so far. Wells had a rare open look, but took a couple of dribbles and got a better look for her first field goal.
I think that's important for Wells to get herself going. You don't want to settle for a 3, especially when you haven't had a good look in a long time. So you want to take your time and get a higher percentage shot by getting in the paint.
Pow defended by Kinney. Pow got Kinney chasing her and knocked it down for 2 into double figures with 11.
Yeah, when Pow was able to see the rim and able to get a clear look knock that shot down.
Kinney will launch for three. Chin on the glass. And then last touch by Pow Pow. Great job by Tuti Jones, who's a little fired up after making the play.
Well, I love it. I love that enthusiasm. I love that energy. Belmont basically going against the Giants. When you look down low at the post players and you look at every single position, they are undersized, but the heart that they have and the way that they play, it's fun to watch.
Shear into the game. Parrish checks out. Good, strong drive. Count it and one. Destiny Wells.
Well, that'll tie the game at 32. And Destiny Wells will get to the free throw line, but check it out. Taking this drive on the right hand. Got her on her hip and on her back. Able to get the finish to the free throw line.
Second personal foul on Maddie Shear, and here is Destiny Wells, the sophomore from Lakeland, Tennessee. There are 4 Tennessee natives on this Belmont roster. Lakeland near Memphis. Belmont is in front by 1. First time they've led since they were on top, 16-15. Shear. Pow Pow. Offensive foul called on Tahina Pow Pow.
Well, Pow Pow putting on a dribbling clinic, with her head down, trying to take it to the basket and does not look up in time. That second foul called on Pow Pow.
We've seen Conley Chin take a couple of charges in this game. That one sends Pow Pow to the bench with the 2.
Well, Chin sacrificing her body. She sees the drive and really just steps up. She stepped right in. Pow Pow's head was down, and by the time she released the ball, it was too late.
4th turnover for Pow Pow. Elise Hurst into the game for the Ducks. Tessa Miller on for Belmont. Batted around, Sedona Prince comes up with a block, rejecting the shot by Chin. Rogers to Hurst for 3.
Much needed basket by Oregon. Great transition play. Sedona Prince saved the day on the defensive end and got that transition game going.
Senior from Australia who transferred from New Mexico in her first season with the Ducks. Makes her 47th 3 of the year. Good shooter. Now Rogers. Taken away by Jones.
Did you say defensive player of the year? Is that what you said?
Conley Chin in and out. Sabali fighting for it against Jones. And rolling out of bounds. It'll be Oregon basketball when we come back. We'll also hear from the studio to get you up to date in a moment. Hey, look. I've got this phrase. I want to use it.
Anything is possible.
Oh, I was going to say March Madness, but, you know, you can go with the KG if you want. I got you.
I mean, when you think about it, though, a lot of teams have dealt with injuries, Oregon being one. Tennessee, what we just saw, being another. Every team has had to deal with injury. But then you think about the transfer portal, you think about putting all of your pieces together. And I think by the time you get to March Madness, you kind of figure it out. And you're starting to see a lot of teams perform at a higher level.
Then you have a team like Belmont that's used the same starting 5 for each and every game this year. Only North Carolina is the only other team that's played at least 27 games that's had the same starting 5. So you got that great consistency. We showed you before when they beat Gonzaga last year, you saw so many of the same faces. They've mixed in a couple of key freshmen to help out. So this is a team that knows what it's like to play as a 12 and play well as a 12, and they're doing that against this Pac-12 team.
It will go back to the consistency piece. When you have the consistency, you know where players are, you know what their strengths are. And even Belmont, I mean, he's had to deal with injuries. You see all the players that are on the sideline, a lot of them aren't playing. They've had to deal with injuries, but how do you put that together? And the players that you have 9 solid. Those 9 players know they're going to play, and they're ready to step in when needed.
Fallon Hurst, her first personal foul. Hurst can't hit the three. Wells is the first one there, has Jones on her right. Trailing, Schoenwald in and out for three.
Well, you got a nice look in the transition game. Schoenwald not able to finish. Ooh, I like that, Roger.
Shearer for three. There's Watson, who had some good minutes in the first half. A second chance. Shearer can't get it. Picked up by Belmont.
Both teams so aggressive in this game. You can feel what's on the line, the energy, the sense of urgency that's at play right now.
And it's going to be a foul on Rogers on the drive. And there will be 2 free throws now for Belmont. Rogers with 2 personal fouls. She'll head to the bench.
And Pow will come back in, also with 2 fouls.
So here is Tuti Jones, sophomore from Troy, Alabama, at the stripe. We're just getting started. Opening weekend of the NCAA Women's Championship. Next weekend, Sweet 16 and Elite 8, all leading up to the Final Four. You'll see it, of course, on ESPN Championship Sunday night, prime time, on April 3rd. Also, you can catch it all on the ESPN app if you're on the go. Sabali inside for 2. Chance for a 3-point play.
That'll be called on Bartlett. In fact, Bartlett, that'll be her 4th foul. And Sabali taking her time down low. Nice little spin move over her right shoulder. Bartlett comes down just a little bit. That'll get her 4th foul and a trip to the bench.
Comes with 2:57 to go in the 3rd. So Madison Bartlett, first team all-conference selection, on the bench now. There goes some size to the bench for Belmont.
Well, size, consistency, leadership, I mean, all the things that Bartlett brings to this team.
Sabali finishes the 3-point play. Oregon on top by 4. On the drive, won't drop for Baird. Sabali's going to show the handle. Pow, Hurst for 3, it's short. Watson there defensively to knock it away. 11 to shoot for the Bruins.
Well, Watson's been good on her time on the floor. She's had a couple of blocks. That defensive possession right there, just being in the right place at the right time. And I don't think she comes in the game and Oregon expects her to explode and score all these points. I think her assignment is come in the game and don't let the defense dip. Stay solid on offense.
Oh, good defensive play by Hurst on the drive by Wells. 2 on the shot clock, and Belmont will not get a shot off. Good defensive stand for Oregon.
Anytime you can tip the ball around, make it hard, and Oregon, great job on the defensive end, just kept their hand active. Belmont not able to convert.
Conley Chin into the game for Belmont as Nikki Baird will take a seat. Inside of 2 minutes to go, 3rd quarter, 5-12 matchup here in Knoxville. The winner to take on Tennessee on Monday. Pow got the defender in the air, made her pay.
Sabali set that play up nice. Set that screen, gave all that space for Pow.
Belmont's missed their last 5 field goal attempts. Oregon's gone on an 8-1 burst here to go on top by 6. Wells on the pull-up is good.
Wells read that play nice. She called for the screen first. Knew that Sabali would sag a little bit too low. 1 dribble off the screen, right into the pull-up.
She's got 9, 7 coming in this 3rd quarter. Shear on the pull-up. Rebound for Belmont. Wells fed inside and a jump ball. Miller went up with a shot. Oregon there with the defense. It will stay with Belmont with 10 to shoot.
Well, great rotation by Sabali, drops in, and I don't know who was in this left corner out here, but when you come off that screen and you force the defense to pull in, somebody is wide open on the backside. And Sabali, great job being there, hands straight up.
Pinto back into the game for Oregon. She's guarding Destiny Wells. Kinney off the mark for 3. It was a good save by Tuti Jones, who took out 3 photographers like they were bowling pins on the baseline. Everyone is up, including Tuti. It's Oregon ball.
Well, Wells will take a seat, and you hope that she's taking a seat to get her breath. You get a little bit of a break because Oregon has been all over. Fourth quarter, be ready to come back out.
Ducks holding for a final shot. Just a couple of seconds between the shot clock and the game clock. Pow defended by Jones. Using the Prince screen. Tried to drop it in for Pinto, who made the cut. Turnover number 8 for Oregon.
Yeah, that's a bad cut right there. Nowhere for Pinto to go. She's got to stay out on the wing and be ready to knock down that baseline shot.
So Destiny Wells back in the game. Plenty of time here for Belmont to get something done. Inside of 5 seconds to go, Wells will heave it from deep. It catches the backboard, but that is the end of the third quarter. Oregon was up 2 at halftime. They're up by 4 as we head to the fourth in Knoxville. 2 quarters after falling behind by 5 after 1. Ducks had the advantage in the second. Oregon with a small advantage in the third. 4-point lead for the Ducks as we go to the fourth. Eric Freed, Hall of Famer. Tamika Catchings with you. Knoxville, Tennessee, the winner to take on Tennessee, the number 4 seed. Knocked off Buffalo earlier today here in Knoxville. Sabali gets the first points of the fourth quarter.
And I like the patience Sabali has come out with all game. Said it earlier, first half, not really falling. Second half, she's really been able to get the ball to fall, taking her time, been really solid on her move, and able to get those finishes.
24 of the 42 Oregon points have come in the paint. As we expected, big size advantage for the Ducks. Belmont trying to hang in there from outside, and they knock down another 3-pointer.
That's what I was going to say. Is in order for Belmont to get themselves going, they need to figure out how to get some more of the threes. That's what kept them in the game early on. And even when you look at the stat sheet, nobody had reached double figures yet from the Belmont team, except Jones just did. But it's been a pretty consistent effort from every single player that's played.
7th 3-pointer for Belmont as a team. Rogers can't answer for 3. Thrown down to Jones. You know she wants to step back, and you know she can make a 3.
So just like that, the game is back tied at 42. Back-to-back 3-point shots by Tuti Jones.
Back to the paint for Sabali in Oregon. Conley Chin calls for it. Soft pass. Sabali was there. Tried to come away with it, but turned it over.
Well, we know Sabali can take the ball coast to coast. We've seen her do it already.
Jones in the paint. Belmont has brought a loud cheering section over from Nashville. I see those in orange rooting for Belmont as well, as the Bruins are now up by 2.
And they just keep going and going, but Tuti Jones raining from the 3s. Belmont up 44-42.
I just have a feeling, Kelsey, you guys just better settle in. It just feels like one of those nights, right? It's just going to be a little crazy, and it could be happening here in Knoxville. A 12 leading a 5. It's a 2-point lead. Oregon just took a timeout. Let's see what they do out of that timeout called by Kelly Graves. Here is Sabali. You do what you do best. Get it to Niara Sabali. She's got 21.
Well, that has been what has worked thus far between Sabali and Pow Pow. Those are the two players that have stepped up big time. And I think Oregon, you got to figure out a way to find them.
Kinney for 3.
So Belmont continuing to space out the floor, force Oregon to guard them from the three-point line, and they're not doing a good job of getting out right now.
Pow Pow followed her own miss, but missed the follow-up, and Kinney comes away. Senior out of Arkansas with the push, gets it back, steps into a 3, but that one's off. But look who's flying in for the offensive rebound. Tuti Jones in a reset here for Belmont. Everyone in the building except Tessa Miller knew she had an open lane to the basket. Wells leans in on Pow Pow. Nope. And a foul is going to be called on Oregon. A question I would have, would there have been a reset there and hit the backboard? Did Oregon have possession, fully have possession? I don't know if Kelly, there seems to be no protest here from Oregon.
Well, you see the referee coming together, trying to see. Well, it looks like it was would have been considered an offensive rebound.
But it didn't hit the rim, so they're going to give the ball to Belmont. Foul on Watson, her first. First team foul of the quarter on Oregon. Another 3 on the way. And getting fouled, taking the 3 was Tuti Jones.
Well,
Sedona Prince on the closeout gets called for the foul.
I don't know if that was a closeout, more like a flyout. She was trying to get the ball in the air, but jumped a little bit too high, not able to control her body. And Tuti Jones goes to the floor.
So it wasn't in the act of shooting, it's just going to be Belmont basketball on the side. I got screened down a little bit, so I need your expert vision, that Hall of Fame vision, sort things out for me.
We need a replay, how about that?
Bart Brooks, the head coach for Belmont, he's putting up a protest here. It's going to be Belmont basketball on the side. The foul on Prince, her first. It's a pause here just to confirm what's happening on the court. It's going to be Wells with the basketball on the side. Wells gets it back. Wells in trouble. Back outside for Chin. Rogers with the rebound. Hurst. Well, she ran out of real estate, but almost got it back, but out of control, and a turnover for the Ducks.
Well,
that is their 11th.
Use the clock that you have. Plenty of time in this game, 6 minutes and 20 seconds. There's a long time before the game ends, and Oregon making some uncharacteristic plays, going a little bit too fast. Wide open shot attempt by Belmont.
Hurst tried to knock it away from Jones. Handed off to Kinney. Tipped out of play. Right now, one of the top players for Oregon on the bench, Tahina Pow Pow, was just getting what appeared to be a cramp worked on by athletic trainer Quintero. So Pow Pow on the bench for the moment, hitting the fluids. But just watching, with inside of 6 to go and 5 on the shot clock here for Belmont.
Well, I don't expect Pow Pow to be sitting on the bench much longer. Get some fluid, get the cramps out, and then get back on the floor.
Shot is no good. A rebound comes to Hurst. sheer. Hurst. Belmont's defense is there to stop Hurst in a battle for the loose ball. A tie-up will give it to Belmont.
Super scrappy Belmont. They are scrappy, they are fighting, they are in the passing lanes, they are all over. And you think about Oregon, what has worked in the last couple of possessions? What has worked is Sabally down low, posting up Pow back in the game.
Pow's in there, you see her, and Madison Bartlett has come back in for Belmont. Their number 2 scorer, number 1 rebounder this season. Picked up her 4th foul with 2:57 to go in the 3rd quarter, so Bartlett back on the floor now for Belmont. Baird for Bartlett. Hand it back off to Baird. Bartlett fights on the glass. Bartlett will set for 3.
Bartlett comes back in the game, gets the offensive rebound, then sets up and knocks down a 3.
Tipped out of bounds by Tuti Jones. Welcome back to the game, Madison Bartlett. Belmont on top by 6. A year ago in San Antonio, we all know what happened. Her social media post let the world know that things weren't right when it came to equity with the men's and women's tournament. So that's what she said last year. Yesterday, she was ready for the question about has she seen change? And her answer was, you know, it's about basketball now. That's where we want the focus to be. I'm thankful for change, but it's time to ball. Well, that time is now. Out of the Oregon timeout, they get a much-needed hoop from Pow.
Well, that was Rogers stepping into the shot, knocking it down, coming off that screen, and you're right, it is time. The time is now to ball and step up.
There's Sabally fighting for it, and a foul is going to be called on Belmont's Tessa Miller. Good hustle play by Sabally. She has really worked hard here today. You can see taking the moment here.
Sabally trying to lead the transition break, gets her hands in the passing lane on the defensive end, but we've seen plays get broken up on the Belmont side, by Sabally being in the right place.
Rogers swinging for sheer. Back to Sedona Prince. Belmont swarms Sabally, who's fouled, and will head to the free throw line.
And that'll be another call on Tessa Miller. Sabally came to work today, 21 points right now, 9 rebounds. And if we had a stat, if we were able to look at the deflection, the amount of deflection, the amount of time she'd been in the right place at the right time, that would be a high stat for Sabally today.
22 points now for the redshirt junior. Missed the first 2 seasons at Oregon because of injury. Last year was her first season on the floor, so they made it to the Sweet 16 playing in San Antonio, now getting a chance to experience what the NCAA tournament is really like and the way it's supposed to be here in front of a crowd in Knoxville, Tennessee. But her Oregon team down by 2 with under 4 minutes to go in the 4th. Wells in traffic, rejected by Sabally.
Yeah, you can't take a drive in right there with Sabally on your back, Sabally on your side, Sabally in front of you. You cannot release the ball right there. Just my 2 cents.
It's worth more than 2. And with 3 on the shot clock, Prince gets called for the foul. That's her second. Three team fouls now on the Ducks, so it will be Jones to trigger the inbound. Wells. Defended by Pow. Wells in traffic, no. Into the hands of Pow. Here come the Ducks, a chance to tie or go ahead. Jones got a hand in there, and she gets help from her teammates. And a tie-up, possession arrow will give it to Oregon.
Pow dribble the ball, 1-2 mini dribbles into the paint, allowing Belmont to just basically surround her and force her into almost turnovers. I think jump ball possessions are almost just as important as being able to, or as turnovers are.
Prince will try it from outside. Shear with the rebound. Jones was ready for it. The Defensive Player of the Year in the OVC comes up with the steal for the Bruins. Wells got by Pow, but there is a rim protector there for Oregon with another block.
4 blocks by Niara Sabali, and when you think you're all alone, but you know you're not, Sabali comes over. It just makes it look so easy. That's number 4 for the night.
Miller back to Wells. Shot clock down to 5. Kinney launches from deep. Shear fights off Jones for the rebound, and here come the Ducks. Rogers. Wild scramble for Oregon, and it turns into a turnover.
A lot of loose ball possessions. Lack of taking care of the ball. That's 2 turnovers in the last 2 possessions for Oregon.
Kinney doesn't take it at Sabali, but turns it over into the hands of Pow. Back and forth we go. Low scoring game. 2-point Belmont lead as we approach 2 minutes to go here in Knoxville.
And Kelly Graves up out of his seat. We've seen him kind of relaxing on the bench a little bit, but up out of his seat, trying to direct traffic to get the ball down low to Sabali.
Tipped into the hands of Prince, and we're tied.
And that's a good possession right there by Oregon. Take your time with the ball, move it around side to side.
Timeout called by Belmont. Bart Brooks' team pulled off the upset last year. We take a look at our Capital One rewarding performance. The 3-point shot, a big part of their success. 10 threes knocked down by Belmont here tonight.
Well, they've done a great job moving the ball around, finding the open players. 10 threes, like you said, but it's really just been about team basketball, not one player stepping up, and it's the whole team.
They've got 10 field goals from outside the 3-point line, 8 from inside the arc, so most of their points coming from outside the line, and we knew coming in, this is a team that took a lot of threes. They've made double-digit threes here today. They're tied at 50 with 1:40 to go.
Well, this has been a scrappy game from start to finish. We've had a lot of highs and lows. We've had turnovers. We've had rebounds. We've had a little bit of everything. But it's been fun watching both teams continue to fight.
It's going to be a foul called on Kylie Watson. That's her second.
So they took Sedona Prince out, gave her a little bit of a break. But I expect she'll be going right back in a minute.
It's 14 fouls on Oregon, so no free throws here yet for Belmont. Wells for Bartlett. Back for Wells, trying to go on Shear, good defender, back outside. Bartlett's 3 is short, and the rebound tipped by Watson to Rogers.
So Belmont will settle back into a 2-3 zone.
Rogers to Pow. 1 minute to go. Kicked away by Tuti Jones. Substitutions for both teams. Chin and Miller back on for Belmont. Bartlett goes to the bench again. She's been playing a long time with the 4 fouls. Baird as well. Sedona Prince is back in now for Oregon.
And see, these are the times when you're in practice. We have the 1-minute game that we go through over and over and over again. This is what you're going to see.
Rogers dropped it off to Prince, but Rogers gets called for the offensive foul. Conley Chin takes another charge.
Sacrificing your body, whatever it takes, you're always ready. Step up, great job. Rogers, a little bit too far.
Conley Chin is a COSIDA academic All-American, graduating in May, plans on going to medical school and becoming a surgeon. She's made so many heady plays in this game, taking the charges, putting Belmont in position now to go back in front. Shot clock now at 7. Wells is fouled by Shear, and this means 2 free throws for Destiny Wells, a 75% free throw shooter.
Well, that's a tough call right there, and Shear trying to stay close to Madison Wells, but a little bit too close. Got the hand check on.
Third foul on Shear. Wells 3 for 3 tonight. Clutch. 2 free throws for Destiny Wells. Oregon will take a timeout, and if you haven't followed the women's game closely all year, they can advance it into the front court, and that's what Kelly Graves will do. Oregon will put it into play in the front court with the shot clock turned off. 24.5 to go on the game clock in a 2-point game.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what Oregon draws up. The last 4 possessions, they've had 3 turnovers. So really coming out, I mean, the first thing is you got to get the ball in. Got to get the ball in, got to set up a play. I'm thinking Sabali, you're going to go down low, you're going to try to get it to Sabali. You look for the and one. If the double team comes, they had the same possession happen a few possessions before. Sedona Prince dive into the basket, and you look for that.
So I have an eye here on Niara Sabali, who's got 23 points on 9 of 17 shooting. Belmont with 3 timeouts left, Oregon with 1. Belmont's thinking about maybe taking the timeout. Too late now. Here we go. Prince, defender went down. They do go to Sabali. Can't get it. Batted back. Controlled by Belmont's Tuti Jones.
Definitely the right move. You're trying to get the ball down low. Sabali has been great in the second half. Get the ball up. And
meanwhile, Destiny Wells is being carried to the sideline here. Now, my first guess would be, and I hate to guess, but the fact that her teammates would do that and lift her is that we saw it with Pow Pow before. Maybe she's just got a cramp and they're just trying to get her to the bench here and work on it, but let's see what they do here. I did not see the play in front of us as she's reaching down here. Again, Belmont's got timeouts here, so if they wanted to take a timeout to buy a little time here for their leading scorer on the season, .6 to go.
Previous play is under review. Timing situation.
Okay, so you just got the word from one of our officials. They are at the monitor right now. So that means it's time to wait here for Tuti Jones at the free throw line just to make sure they got the right amount of time on the clock. So let's see if we can follow what happens here with Wells. She came down. Had trouble getting up, and you saw looked like they had maybe a little icy hot.
The clock is being adjusted to 15.1 seconds.
She had a Powerade, you know, like the telltale signs you would think maybe they're trying to work on a cramp here, but
Well, that's what you hope. You hope that that's all that it is. And yeah, you see right there, stretching it out, drinking the Powerade, the Flex All Out, whatever it takes.
So Tuti Jones, who's got an interesting approach at the free throw line where she steps in to the free throw and it works for her. Spins it, steps in, launches. That one won't drop down. So Oregon will take the timeout again. They can advance the basketball. It'll be a full timeout here. But now it's a three-point game, and Oregon's going to have to draw up a play to tie it with a three-point shot.
Well, on the flip side, you look at Belmont, 10 for 30 from the three-point line. Oregon has only attempted 16. They've only made 3 tonight.
Here's what's at stake. Belmont, a 12 seed, won in the tournament last year, knocking off Gonzaga for the first win in program history in the NCAA tournament, trying to make it back-to-back years with NCAA tournament wins. Oregon has been a fixture in the Sweet 16 round. They've gone to the last 4, but they have their backs against the wall right now. Before, Sabali was the go-to. They couldn't score. Now for 3, that has not been a great part of their offense. Oregon's 3 for 16 today. Sydney Parrish is their top shooter. She's made 52 threes on the season. Hurst has been effective from outside the three-point line. Oregon's got to find an answer outside the arc.
Well, I think you might even look at Pow. I mean, Pow is coming to the game. She knocked down a three-point earlier on the game. At this point right now, you gotta space the floor, and you gotta get your players outside and ready to spot up.
As we mentioned, 3 for 16. Break it down a little bit, go inside those numbers. They've missed their last 4 three-point attempts, and they are 1 for their last 9. And right now, they're going to go with the 5 on the floor with Pow and Shear. They're not going to have Parrish on the floor, and they're not going to have Hurst on the floor. Rogers, Shear, Rogers, Sabali. They're looking for a quick 2. Now they kick it out. Pow, wide open 3 for the tie!
And Pow knocks it down from the corner. You thought they were going inside to Sabali. A great spin move to the baseline. Find the open shooter on the baseline, and great finish. Pow had to jump a little bit high, but able to get her feet set and get ready to knock that ball in. A lot of confidence right there.
Pretty good look on the replay too, as Sabali looked like she had her head up. She was looking for Pow the whole way as she drove towards the basket. And Tahina Pow delivers from outside the three-point line to tie it at 53. Timeout Belmont. They'll bring it into the front court in a tie game. They have all sorts of options now to win it here in Knoxville.
Well, it'll be interesting. Is Madison Wells coming back in the game? That would be the question right now, because when you think about scores on the floor, 7.9 seconds, she can create her own shot. Tuti Jones, you've seen try to do a little bit, but Madison Wells, this team goes as she goes. Or Destiny Wells, excuse me.
So I think sitting there on the bench in the left shielded is Destiny Wells, which would indicate she's coming back into the game. She's listening there to Bart Brooks. It could be Tuti Jones, who's been excellent.
Well, I think really what you can do is you can space the floor, take a couple of dribbles, 8.1 seconds on the shot clock. So take your time. You don't have to score in the first 2 seconds of the clock. Use a little bit of the clock, set up the offense, penetrate, kick, find your open shooters, and it doesn't have to be a three-point. It could even be something attacking the basket.
Tie game, of course, you want to look for that, but that three-point shot has been a big part of things. So here comes Destiny Wells. Seems to be moving okay. We'll see if she's the one who's going to try to send Belmont to a meeting with Tennessee on Monday. 8.1 on the clock. Back out to Bartlett. 4 seconds, 3 seconds. Sabali with another block, and we will go to overtime as Oregon gets a stop to close out regulation. Overtime coming. March Madness activated in Knoxville. UMass Minutemen back in the NCAA tournament for the first time in 24 years. Double-digit seeds. They've been up to something in this tournament. Happens every year, helping with Belmont last year. we saw last night. Florida Gulf Coast with a victory. Villanova with the win today over BYU. Princeton ended Kentucky's winning streak at 10 games. And here in this game, a number 12 seed, Belmont, heading to overtime against the 5 seed Oregon. Tahina Paopao with the 3 to tie it for Oregon with 8 seconds left. And off the tip, Paopao takes it right to the hoop.
Paopao continues the reign and hits the three-point shot, starts the overtime, getting to the basket. I think you're going to see a different energized team in this overtime.
Jones, Sabali has been a defensive force for Oregon. Had the stop at the end of regulation. She's been a difference maker in the paint late in this game.
Well, she's been all over the floor on the offensive end, on the defensive end. We saw the plays before the last one designed specifically for Sabali to get those shots. Defensively, she's everywhere. She's moving her feet, she's getting blocked, getting in the way, making it hard for Belmont to score.
Sabali now on the offensive end, ducks under for 2.
Nice little up and under right there with a nice finish.
Double-double for Sabali. 25 points now for her. The three-pointer won't drop it. Sabali has got the rebound, and a foul is called. Sabali took a very hard tumble, and she's not the only one. Tuti Jones for Belmont went down. Paopao was down.
Yeah, the hustle's there.
Jones gets called for the foul. That's her first. She got under Paopao, and then they both took out Sabali. Remember, Paopao and Sabali missed so much time leading into Pac-12 play. Sabali's been really good here tonight, though. 25 points, 12 rebounds, 3 assists.
And 5 blocks.
Paopao working with Prince. They go back inside to Sabali. Why not? Trip to the free throw line coming for Oregon.
Well, you gotta go to what keeps working. Sabali has been working since the first quarter. She started off the game missing a couple of those bunnies, but as the game has progressed and she's gotten more and more confident, she's taking her time down low, getting position, and finishing at the basket.
So the foul on Tessa Miller, that's her 4th, and here is Yara Sabali at the line.
And I heard that from over here, Coach Graves screaming no 3, knowing that Belmont, that'll be the thing that'll get them back into this game.
Sabali with 27, her career high came this season in the Bahamas when she went for 30 against Oklahoma. A few games she was able to play in the non-conference. There's Madison Bartlett. Bartlett trying to work on Prince. There is a 3, an open look, and Belmont delivers. Nikki Baird for 3.
Just heard it, no 3 from the sideline, and when you got 3-point shooters out, you literally can't take your eye off your player. You have to defend everybody straight, man-to-man defensive principles.
Belmont has made 11 of 33 threes here tonight. Rogers will head to the free throw line.
And Baird will get called for that foul.
That's the first on Baird. Both teams in the bonus, 2 free throws. Rest of the way, we're in overtime. Tina Paopao knocked down the 3-pointer with 8 seconds to go to tie the game for Oregon. Ducks got a stop on defense when Belmont tried to get off a final shot. In overtime, Oregon came out firing, jumped out to a 6-point lead. Right now the lead is 5. Tennessee beat Buffalo earlier here in Knoxville. They will take on the winner of this game Monday here at TBA. Bartlett Kick outside. Resetting for three is Baird. Rogers has it. Oregon does not need to be in a hurry right now.
Oregon just needs to control the tempo, control the pace. Belmont on the other end, they have to get up. They got to force turnovers. They got to force Oregon to play a little bit faster the way they did in the first half.
Sabali. Tuti Jones with the steal. Sheer back defensively. Jones for two.
Got to take care of the basketball. Back and forth, back and forth. Belmont is not going to go away.
Sabali rips it away. Prince picks it up and puts it in. And a player down for Belmont. It's Jamelin Kinney. Travis Zaborowski, the athletic trainer for Belmont. We're watching 14. Like there was the pressure on the right leg, but she was grabbing for that left calf right away. So again, could be another cramping issue here. Both teams had not played in a while. Belmont was the first team to win a conference tournament in men's or women's basketball. That was back on March the 5th. And Oregon's last game was the Pac-12 tournament semifinals on March 4th, 15 days ago. We've seen players for both teams seemingly dealing with some cramping after a bit of a layoff.
Well, I mean, I think you look at even the intensity of this game and how much energy you put in getting ready for this game, how much energy in the practices, the shoot-around, all of that. And I think that you're starting to see that play a toll, too.
Wells is one of those players who had to go to the sideline for a little while, but she comes through with the basket to make it a one-possession game. Timeout in overtime in Knoxville. It's been a thriller here in game 2 in Knoxville. Oregon, the number 5 seed, was down 3 in the final seconds. Tahina Pau came up with a clutch three-pointer, but the one who's been consistent all game long for Oregon has been Niara Sabali.
Niara Sabali running the floor, making the right basket, making the right plays, using her body, using her size, and in that sense, using her quickness getting to the basket, but has done a great job. She's everywhere. She's everywhere on the offensive end, on the defensive end. She's getting the blocks, getting in the way, making the right defensive stop. I mean, she has done a great job in the game.
Sabali in 42 minutes has 27 points, 12 rebounds, 3 steals, and 5 blocks.
It's not enough. It's not enough. I'm just kidding.
That's how you get to the Hall of Fame, right? It's never enough? Is that the way it is?
Well, you got a minute and 21 seconds left to go in this game, and I guarantee you over there in that huddle, she's thinking to herself, it's not enough, whatever it takes for them to come out with the win.
4th time this year that Niara Sabali has gone for 20 and 10. It's 27 and 12 today. And Pau, she's got 18. None more clutch than that 3 in the final seconds of regulation to get Oregon to overtime and avoid the upset for now against Belmont. Still a lot of time in this game. 1:21 to go. Belmont's down by 3. They're the team that took the timeout. After the Wells basket, it'll be Oregon basketball. Winner of this game takes on Tennessee here in this building on Monday night. We are in the Wichita region. Louisville's the number 1 seed. They take on Gonzaga in the Derby City tomorrow evening. Pau. A reminder, Belmont, an outstanding defensive team. Can they get a stop right now on the Ducks? Pau will step into a 3. No. Tap back out, rebound for Bartlett. Under a minute to go in overtime.
I don't know if I like that shot and that play right there. Sabali's been doing such a great job down low. You got to find a way to get her the ball.
A bank shot for three from Conley Chin to tie the game.
Belmont is all in right now. I mean, shooting the ball light side. You hear the fans up on their feet.
Pow, pow, tough take. No, Prince offensive rebound, and she'll go to the free throw line for the Ducks.
You cannot take your eyes off of any of these players, and Bartlett steps out and ready to knock it in. Conley Chin for three.
the look on some of those faces were like, oh, did that just happen? Did that just happen? It did. Sedona Prince, 75% free throw shooter.
So now you understand.
Confidence as she steps into the first.
So now you understand when I say it's not enough. It's not enough until the buzzer is right. The clock has run out. That is when it is enough.
1 of 2 for Prince. Rebound for Bartlett. 1 point Oregon lead. Shot clock is off. Belmont with 2 timeouts left. For the moment, they'll play it through. Trying to duck it inside, and a foul is called on the pass. And this will be a trip to the free throw line for Nikki Baird. What a spot for the junior from Wheaton, Illinois. She's attempted 11 free throws this season. The game is tied with 11.2 to go. Timeout Oregon. They'll advance it to the front court.
Well, Oregon.
This is where Belmont was, Tamika, at the end of regulation. They had that final possession and a chance to win. Didn't get a shot at the basket. Now flip it to this side. It's a tie game. We've had this conversation before. Before it was Oregon trailing. Now what do you do in a tie game?
Well, in my opinion, Oregon, you take the ball to the player that has been doing and has been the most efficient and effective tonight. That is Miara Sabali. Take the ball down low, space out the floor, let her have some room to either get and make the basket or get fouled and get to the free throw line and get the opportunity to finish the game.
See some poker faces coming out of that timeout. No one tipping their hand here. Who does Oregon go to? Tied in overtime. Round 1, NCAA tournament. It's Pow Pow with 8. Sabali turns inside, double team. Sabali fights, no. Controlled by Belmont. They take a timeout. It's Conley Chin who gets the timeout. 2.5 on the clock. They'll advance it to the front court and have a chance to win in overtime.
Well, 2.5 seconds. A lot of time. Let's go back to that possession. That is the right move right there. You see the zipper action. Sabali down low. 2 players down. I mean, she gets that shot. That's a shot we have seen her hit earlier in the game. First quarter, second quarter, third quarter. She's done that all game.
But Belmont was ready for it. Belmont was there with a double with Chin and Bartlett teaming up. Bartlett's been playing with 4 fouls for a long time. Conley Chin is the one who came away with it. It's 2.5 on the clock. For the moment, they are at the monitor confirming the time remaining here.
Well, you got shooters on Belmont, so any player you go to can potentially put the ball in the basket. I think they go for a 3-point shot. I mean, that's what they've been able to hit all night long. Get some action, get some screen. Try to get Oregon a little bit confused on who they're guarding. They added 0.3 seconds, so 2.8 seconds.
All right, so 3/10 added, 2.8 to go. Plenty of time here for Belmont, tied at 64 in overtime. They look to Bartlett. Bartlett's got a chance. It's Sabally with the block. Another block, and we'll have another overtime. Oh my gosh, Niar Sabally. Offensively, defensively, getting it done. What a game in Knoxville.
Defense, 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 and look at this possession right here. Not just what, I mean, Sabally everywhere. Then you got Walters coming in, Watson for the second block. Unbelievable, we're going to another overtime.
9 years, in fact, since the last double overtime game in the NCAA tournament. Dayton knocked off St. John's in that matchup. We're heading to a second overtime. Scoring was 11-11 in our first OT. What a great battle between Oregon and Belmont. First meeting all time between these two programs is a memorable one. Belmont controls the tip in the second OT. Wells on the run, won't drop. Sabally with the rebound to Prince.
You can tell both teams a little bit tired.
A little bit.
Coming down the stretch, but there's so much on the line, and this has been a great game. We've seen two teams that have battled and put everything that they have out there on the line.
Rogers to Shear. Again, they look inside to Sabally with 4 on the shot clock. Over the top to Sabally. 29 for Niara, one off her career in season high. Destiny Wells trying to get around Shear. Back outside, Tuti Jones. Jones with it. Open look for 3, Bartlett. Prince with the rebound.
Right now it's all about controlling the pace of the game, using the clock.
Oregon patiently works it for Prince.
Well, we haven't seen Sedona Prince go down low in a while outside of that dive to the basket, but that's a great thing. Sabally moves out, Prince moves in.
But here's what Prince has done in overtime. A basket, an assist, a rebound. Some winning plays here in OT from Sedona Prince. Oregon on top by 4. Wells, pow there defensively. It was tipped out of bounds. 6 to shoot for Belmont.
We'll take another look at this pass right here, and great high-low pass from Prince to Sabally. A nice little finish.
Shot clock at 3 for Jones. Has to heave it. .20 for Tuti Jones. 2-point game in the second overtime.
Whatever it takes. It doesn't matter. At the last second, you see her eye going up, and right here you see the defense.
Jones has it. Shear comes back. Jones waits and ties it. Things could turn that quickly in March. Pow. Back for Sabally. Again to Sabally. Again, it's Sabally, a career high 31.
Well, I like that play right there. They went inside. She passed the ball outside, gets the ball, releases the defense, and able to get another shot.
Oh, Wells, beautiful pass. Drop down to Chin for 2.
Both teams making such beautiful plays down the stretch.
Sabally from outside. Not this time. And the rebound for Belmont. Second overtime here in Knoxville, tied at 70. Wells against Rogers. Wells leans in, draws the contact, and she'll go to the free throw line.
Well, such a great job putting your head down and taking the ball to the basket. Take a good look. Tuti Jones, where that came from, I have no idea. But not only on the offensive end, turns right back around. Defensive player of the year. Gets the rip. Gets the transition basket.
Now you got two players for Belmont. You've got Jones chugging water right now. Training staff is running back and forth. You've got Kinney, who left the game earlier. She's been trying to stretch out her calf on the court. Wells left the game for a while. Pow was out for a little while. I mean, everyone is running. Yeah, they're running on fumes right now. Fallon Rogers, her fourth. Wells at the free throw line, delivers. Belmont in front. First time they've led since regulation.
Well, you'll see a nice little horn set right here, trying to set the screen. One-on-one matchup.
Prince looking to be a facilitator. Out to Shear, 3 on the shot clock. Shear on the pull-up. Prince inside, the rebound, a tie-up, possession arrow, Oregon, and Prince looks like she's hurt.
Well, you got it on both sides. Players are just exhausted. And Love right here. Oh,
yeah, the
she
knee
landed
right
on her
into,
knees.
Yeah, right. The knee right into Sedona Prince's stomach. Could have had the wind knocked out of her really quick. Just so uncomfortable. You think she's leaving the game?
Nope.
Absolutely not. Pow. Back off to Sabali. Belmont by 2. Second overtime. Pow knocked away. Open look for 3. It's Rogers. Sabali fights for it. Saved by Kinney. Belmont's got it. Inside of 10 seconds to go, and Belmont takes a timeout.
Well, let's take another look at this possession. And I would assume great save right there. Belmont seeing that they're in trouble, calling a timeout. Jamelyn Kinney heads up play right there.
Like she got the save. 72-70. And you could just look at the faces.
Exhausted.
Everyone's doing whatever they can. Stay hydrated. So we reset it. Each team with a timeout. 6.5 to go. There's a little question here where the basketball is going to be. I think it's going to be on the baseline. Kinney had the save. She had the first contact. She saved it to Bartley, and they called the timeout. There was a little conversation here with Kelly Graves. Now the officials may be moving over to the monitor to check things out here. Possession arrow, Belmont. Lead, Belmont. Possession, Belmont in the second overtime.
They provided Belmont ball and they get to advance it.
officials are near the monitor. They haven't looked at the monitor yet. They're still having a conversation.
Well, you want to get it right, knowing what's at stake for this game.
Sarah Williams is the fourth official, so she's back behind the monitors there. A little input from her as well. Teams are back on the floor. They do advance into the front court, so that's not the issue. We're ready to play. Belmont with the ball and the lead.
Well, Belmont has to get the ball in if they're looking at finishing this game with the win. They got to get the ball in, take care of the ball. Oregon on the other end, you got to steal foul, put yourself in an opportunity to get another chance.
Want to try to get to the Wells. That's a very good free throw shooter. They've done so. Pow gives the foul. Destiny Wells, 75% free throw shooter. If she makes them both, it'll make things incredibly difficult for Oregon. But if she makes one of two and Oregon gets possession, they do have a timeout remaining. They can call the timeout, advance the ball into the front court, and certainly have a chance. But let's see what happens with Wells at the free throw line. 7 for 7 tonight. The door is open here for Oregon.
Well, 4.5 seconds, a lot of time. Look for regardless, make or miss. Oregon will probably call a timeout.
One of two, timeout Oregon. They will advance it to the front court, and they will look for a three-pointer again. Niara Sabali doing all she can to get her body to the sideline.
Well, I tell you what, ice bath right now. At the end of this game, you're going to see both teams in some type of ice bath. This has been a long, hard-fought game.
Okay, end of regulation. Oregon was down by 3. They needed a 3. They went to Tahina Pow. She delivered with 8 seconds to go to tie the game. What's the play now in the second overtime?
I think you do the same thing. It might not be Pow this time, but she's actually been the one to knock down that 3. She had the confidence to be able to knock it down. So I think you go back in. I think you do another spin, whether it's Prince or Sabali, and you're trying to find another open player on that three-point line.
Oregon is 4 for 20 outside the three-point line. It'll be Rogers to trigger the inbound. She's 0 for 2 from outside the arc tonight. 3-point lead for Belmont, second overtime. Prince is going to have to heave it to tie, and it caught the back iron. And Belmont, in double overtime, has pulled another upset in the NCAA tournament.
Unbelievable.
What a performance by both teams. The first double overtime game in the NCAA tournament in 9 years. And it's Belmont winning again. Another upset for Bart Brooks in the tournament. The head coach for Belmont joins us right now. Are you exhausted? Because your team gave you everything they had and more.
I think I was the only one on the sideline who wasn't cramping up at the end. But yeah, really proud of that group. I mean, they're on fumes right now, but that's a really good Oregon team we played, and you know, credit to them. They made everything hard tonight, but really proud of our group.
I mean, Coach Brooks, your team came out and fired first overtime, second overtime. I mean, they fought from start to finish. What was it like going in the huddle, especially down the stretch, to try to will your team to a win?
I tell you what, we've been there before, and that's what we talked about every time out down the stretches. This is where we've been here. You know, it's nothing new. It's where we expected to be, and I think this group is a lot more seasoned than the group that, you know, played that non-conference gauntlet that we played early. And I thought they showed it today. I wish I could take credit for some of that stuff, but that was just our players making big-time plays, and Yeah, can't be more proud of them.
You may not want to take credit, but you can take part in the celebration. You know how to do that in the NCAA tournament. Congratulations.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Bart Brooks, the head coach for Belmont. His team gets it done. 73-70. Tears for Belmont. Here's that last play again and again. We talked about Belmont's defense. They got the stop when they needed it. And in double overtime, they're celebrating. And what a showdown coming up on Monday. Belmont from Nashville here in Knoxville to take on Tennessee. The Bruins moving on to round 2.